Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I feel like doing something a little bit more on the fun side today, kind of like a challenge. So I put up a poll on Instagram a while ago and somebody suggested doing the one dip brush challenge, so let's get into it. So we're going to start with our base first. I feel like let's change things up a little bit and we'll do our base. For liquids, we're just going to do one pump and just pray that it goes all over the face. So one pump, ready? Is that even going to come out? Okay, so that's my pump. I'm just going to rub it together with my fingers and then put it all over. I'm actually really looking forward for this challenge, like just to see the end result. The primer is done. We're now going to move on to our base, our complexion. So I want something that's going to be very full coverage to hide everything and look immaculate, but also something that's going to be quite easily to spread around the face, so nothing too thick. So I'm thinking maybe we go in with the Bounce Skin Tint. I feel like this will be the perfect product. So I'm going to squeeze this little nub at the top here. That's all my product in this little tube. And I'm just going to pop some just on the back of my hand. I'm going to do like a drop till it stops. I'm just going to go in with my sponge and just literally like blend it all over the face, but kind of like make sure that it's evened out. So I'm actually just going to like pop it a little bit up here too. Okay, we've got a good balance on the face. There's still a little bit of excess product on the hands, so I'm just gonna like scrape that off my dry ass hands. That's actually like not too bad, like this coverage. A little bit of a spot there. I've got a really good start going on. As you can see, most of my face is pretty much covered in foundation. Yeah, like this is actually not too bad. We're off to a good start, guys. Now we're going to move on to the concealer. This is going to worry me a little bit because I am actually running out. Your boy's running out of this concealer, so I'm just going to like scrape as much as I can across the edges. Alright, that's my one dip. Now we're just going to pop our concealer where we normally put it. Up here, a bit up there too, and I'm just thinking I'm also going to take my concealer brush to set my eyelids as well. I'm just going to pop the excess from that dip just on the back of my hand. I want to kind of push myself with this challenge. I want to do like a full glam eye look as well. So I just got the excess on the back of my hand here, and we'll just scrape what we can. And we're just going to like, oh, I might like take a little bit from the other areas. Just to carve out the brows really, because we've got the foundation on there that kind of will act as a bit of a base. We're just going to blend that concealer out. What I've done, guys, just from this dip here, I'm going to keep it as is just in case I need to use it throughout the video. This is the first and the only dip for the rest of the video, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's a one dip challenge. Now we're going to set our face, going with my Easy Bake Loose powder. Just going to do a couple of knocks to get as much product as I can. Open up the lid. So I'm just going to go in with one dip with my very dirty powder puff. Oh, I'm trying to like plan it out on how I should dip it, because like I'm gonna need this. Okay, so one dip, guys. I'm just gonna merge it around like that if it even does anything. Okay, so that's how much product we have. You know what I'm gonna do? So we've got our one dip here, right? I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush just so I'm not using it all on my face, and just gonna like pat it. Oh my god, it's like going on my eye. And I'm just gonna like put it underneath my eyes, the bit on the forehead. I'm still using it for my powder puff on my eyelids, a bit on the chin and the nose. Oh my god, it's literally all over my pants right now. I might put like a little bit on like the cheek area, nothing too crazy. Just in the cheek area. That's how much powder I have left on my puff. So I'm just gonna gently place this to the side in case I need more. Complexion is set, Dims. It's now time to do the bronzer. So this is the Glowish Bronzer by Huda Beauty. I got the shade medium 2, and this is actually really light. So if you've watched my previous tutorials, I'm always dipping my brush back into the product because I want to build up and intensify that bronzer shade a little bit more. So this is going to be a tricky set. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to do like a really big swirl and kind of get like as much as possible. Our It Cosmetics brush is nice and loaded. I'm just going to like pop a little bit here and a little bit over here on the forehead. Yeah, not much difference. Now I'm just gonna try and like blend whatever's there out. This shade I feel like is definitely a little bit too light for me. You can't really tell that there's bronze on my face. You can see a little bit, but not much. If there is even anything on my brush, I'm just gonna use that to do my nose. I started using a new toner from the Sephora collection, and it's done such a good job. It's done such a good job. My skin just feels really fresh, very glowy. It looks really glowy. Even I feel like before I had the makeup on, I looked I looked alive, I looked awake. So far so good. Bronzer's looking good, foundation's looking good, concealer is looking good. Let's do some blush. Even with like my blush, I don't really mind if I don't have too much product. I'm gonna pop a little bit on like the apples of the cheek. I don't normally blush my nose, but I have been doing it the last few days for work. So we'll pop some on our nose. That's actually not too bad. Like the blush was kind of worried. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like... So as usual, what I like to do whenever I do my bronzer, my blush, I do like to clean up the edges and soften them up. So just going back in with that excess powder that I have. I take the fluffy brush. Surely this isn't cheating, because when you think about it, I did do one dip. But I'm just showing you guys how it can work. Just kind of softening up those edges with the excess powder. Time for some highlighter. I'm just going to take that Moonstone shade here. So I'm just going to do one big swirl. I don't know if you guys can see, but just look at how gross that brush looks. Like there's just so much product on here. Popping it in our usual places and just starting off like by placing it everywhere that you would normally put it. And then just kind of like using the excess to build up each area you've placed the highlighter. I might put some on my brow bone as well, like just cause. I mean, it is looking a little bit intense on the cheek area. Okay, full glam, mate, full glam. Now we're gonna move on to some brows. Just grab one big dip of brow gel just to fluff the brows up today. I don't really have like a pomade to use for like one dip to make like an intense Instagram eyebrow. So we'll just stick with a brow gel instead. This is now where the real fun begins, because we're going to move on to our eyeshadow. I've got a couple of options. I'm thinking, should I use the Be Perfect Cosmetics Carnival palette, or should we go on with Jeffree Star Blood Sugar? Because I bought this palette like four or so years ago, and I haven't used it in so long. It's such cool shades. Like I feel like you can be very creative with this palette. But yeah, I think we'll go with Jeffree Star. Like I said earlier, I do want to try and challenge myself further with this challenge and do a full glam. So that's the shade we're going to be taking as our transition. So I'm just going to really load up my brush with this product. Like really load it up. Brush is loaded. Looks very intense. I am going to pop this like... Alright, so we've got a bit of an idea of placement of where we want to put this shade. So now that I've got my guides, I'm just going to blend it each side throughout the crease. And we're using one dip for both eyes, by the way. One dip for both eyes. Make sure that it's all nice and blended. Has that smoky feel, smoky vibe. Lucky I've still got that spare concealer for later, just in case, because I feel like I'm gonna need it with the eyes. So we've blended out that shade as much as we could. I'm gonna leave this brush alone, separate, just in case I somehow need that excess for later. Don't know if I will, because I kind of use most of it, but YOLO. So to deepen up our crease, I'm going to take the shade Fresh Meat, and it's just this purpley shade here. And I'm just going to load up my brush. So now I'm just going to use the exact same technique as I did for that first shade. Just getting a placement. Now that I'm quite happy with this placement, I'm going to blend it out. I haven't used this palette in so long. I feel like I should use it more often, because it is a really nice palette. And I absolutely love Jeffree Star Cosmetics. The pigments and the eyeshadow, they're easy to blend. The only thing I will say though is the longer I have some of his palettes, the harder it can get to blend. I'm not too sure why that is. It's probably a whole bunch of things, like environmental, whatnot. And just using whatever was left on this brush just to like buff out and smooth out the edges. This is my little brush bag at the moment. We're now going to take like another smaller blending brush just to deepen up that crease area even more. I'm kind of feeling like maybe we should continue with this smoky eye situation that we've got going on right now. So I'll go with Extraction, which is this purple shade right here, doing a whole bunch of swirls to load up this brush. Look at the damage I've done to that pan. We're going to add our guides. Guides are done, guides are on the eyes. I don't know why I keep closing my eyes when I do that. I just think it's kind of funny. Oh yeah, that actually looks all good. Okay, sweet. We're on a roll. I'm gonna like blend it further into the eyelid, if that makes sense. I'm actually really liking this color combo. Depending how well this look turns out, I might actually recreate it. Going back in with that previous slim crease brush that we had, I'm just gonna use that to buff out the edge slightly. Just taking another brush, we're going to take Coma. So that's just this really deep purple shade at the end here. Brush is all loaded with this purple, and we're going to pop that in the end, just in the end here. And we're going to like just focus it mainly on the lid, I think. We'll take the other brush that we're using previously, and we're just going to use it to buff out this edge part here. even though it's a challenge, we don't want the makeup to look bad. We want to try our best. I think we've blended out this look as much as we possibly can. We do have a bit of fallout going along here, but that's okay because we can tidy that up with the excess concealer. But I think I'm gonna smoke it underneath anyway. I think now I'm gonna add like shimmer into the inner corners. Okay, so these are the two shimmers I'm tossing and turning between. So we've got candy floss here and then sweetener here. I'm kind of leaning towards more sweetener, but then like candy floss. Oh, actually no, what we can do, we'll put sweetener on the eye and then we can use candy floss in the inner corner. I'm smart. A really big swirl, and then we're gonna pop that. It's almost like a peachy metallic, but it actually complements the purple quite nicely. I'm actually really happy that I put this on here first. I forgot what shade we had on this brush. I think it was the Coma shade, the dark purple. We're gonna use the excess just to smoke out underneath our lash line. And then I'm going to go back in with this brush, which had Fresh Meat, I think it was. Just going to use that to buff just underneath that Coma shade, just to kind of soften up and lighten up the edge a little bit. Oh my god, I think I just ruined the look. Yeah, did I just... It went from a really good look to two black eyes. Like, wow. That's great. That's exactly what I wanted. Now we have our two panda eyes. We're going to deepen up the lower lash line, I think, because I feel like it's looking a little bit soft. The end of my eyebrow brush, and we're going to take the shade Intravenous. So it's just this dark brown hair. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's pronounced Intravenous. Intravenous, say it with me, Intravenous. So we're just going to load up our brush, loading that up, and we're just going to pop it as close to the, I don't like even it out though since it's going on both eyes, but as close to the lower lash line as possible. I feel like when you're doing a smoky eye, you kind of need that depth to make it more intense. Oh, I've got some stuff in my eyes. I'm just going back in with this brush and buffing out that dark brown shade a little bit further. So now I'm going to add that Candy Floss like light pink metallic shade to my inner corner, and I'm just going to go in with like a very thin liner brush. I don't really need too much of this product, so I'm just going to like grab that much, whatever that much was, and just place it in my inner corner. We're going to add some liner just to our top lash line, and I'm just going to go in with Tattoo Liner by KVD Beauty. Give it a bit of a shake because you can't really dip this particular liner. I think I'm just going to do a liner in one go, if that makes sense. Starting from the inner corner and then just following. I don't know if you can tell, but I didn't really make it quite towards the end. Inner corner and just following. Well, that kind of sucked. Okay, the liner was a little bit of a fail. I'm not mad at it though, because it has created like a really thin liner, even though it's on like half of each eye. Now we're going to use our concealer, the excess concealer, and we're just going to use this to kind of like tidy everything up. So whatever was on here, I'm just going to put on the back of my hand again. It's a little bit dried out from just sitting on my desk. That's how much concealer I've got left. I don't know if it's going to do much. Going back in my concealer brush and just tapping whatever's there. And I'm just going to use this to kind of like smooth out. This was actually a technique I saw on someone's video, I forgot who it was. She just used like concealer to kind of like smooth out the edges because it also kind of blends everything together at the same time. And you're just doing like soft patting motions. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty cool technique when I saw it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna use that. Look, it's literally dried up already. I don't even know why I'm bothering to like dip it back in because there's nothing on there, but whatever. This is gonna be hard. We're gonna set our face with the Sephora setting spray, and we're just gonna use one pump, guys. Just get what we can get. Ah, I can see like the little mist. Just trying to like absorb as much as I can on my face. Sorry for that weird angle. We're going to do our mascara next. Another hard one because I love my mascara. I love volume. I love thick lashes. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a swirl. So I think I'm going to start by just giving my lashes a light coat first on each eye. To be honest though, this mascara is actually pretty good. When I do normally do like my makeup for going to work or whatever, one pump of this is actually enough for both lashes and just for one coat. Now that I think about it, it's not too much of a challenge. And I am going to add lashes because even though this is a challenge, we're going for that full glam look as much as possible. So I'm just going to take my half cut ones that I get off Shein and my duo glue, and we're just going to do one big pump for both lashes. So grab as much as I can. And now we're going to put some glue on the other lash because I don't really have that much left. I am going to have to like use the wand part of this to kind of get as much glue as I can and make sure that it actually sticks. And this is why I love false lashes, because no matter what kind of look you're doing, it just makes such a difference. Even if it's for natural, like every day, just grab some natural lashes, cut them up in half and use that just for a bit of a natural extension. Alright, so lashes are done. We just have to do our lips. I'm still like deciding on a colour. I've got the shade of Bees by Mellow Cosmetics. That's one option. This is the Sephora liquid lipstick number 70. That one might actually work. Yeah, this one might be actually a better option. And we're just going to do one pump. Load up my applicator, and we're going to use this for the entire lip. Oh, that looked okay, not gonna lie, I thought the shade was going to be darker because it looks quite light once it's actually out of the bottle. Yeah, like it's not bad, but I feel like I just wanted something a bit deeper. Alright guys, this is the overall look that I came up with whilst doing the one dip challenge. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. My honest thoughts, I'm not actually mad. Not being up myself, like it still looks professional, it still looks high quality for one dip for every product, and I'm kind of glad that I did something that's a bit more on the glam side, just to kind of push myself and actually challenge myself a little bit. I'm quite proud of myself. If anyone does this challenge, the key I found is just to load up your brush as much as possible and then just like save a little bit for later in case you do decide you need it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little challenge. More challenges to come in the future, I guess. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Share this video around, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.